Hey guys, Bice Bump here, bringing you another Unholy Mythic Plus commentary video. Today I'm taking you through a plus 20 Spires of Ascension I did the other day. I was lucky enough to get into a very good group and we managed to clear quite a lot of high-end dungeons. I'm showing out this new build I've been running lately, which I just really love, right? It's very similar to the raid build, but you pick up the clone shadows instead of the old serve, and it works really well. You're able to leverage your definite K windows in a way which just brings you so much more DPS. I would say that this is kind of like the most versatile build currently, and it's just something that I would simply run in any dungeon. It just works every single time. I'm running the Frenzied Monstrosity and the Heirmir soulbind. But enough with the build, let's go into the actual gameplay here. This is a classical Bloodlust pool. You could see me popping up army, and I actually went into the Def and K window very quickly. I know that we have a lot of damage, so setting up a lot of wounds would actually result in a DPS loss. So down with the Def and K and just start off with that good old clawing shadows. Spread AoE damage, right? That was really quite clean, so we end up going to the next pack. One comment I mentioned earlier, the way that Clawing Shadows enables your cleave. So you might not know this, but Clawing Shadows Def&K cleave doesn't actually depend on the mobs standing in your Def&K. It's only if you are standing in your Def&K. If you're standing in Def&K and you hit something with your Clawing Shadows, it cleaves to everything 8 yards from your target. So nothing based on yourself, you just need to stand your Def and K and then you just cleave around your target. This enables you to pop down your Def and K and stand 15, 20, 30 yards away from the pack and deal full cleave damage. And this is extremely useful for multiple reasons. One, tank starts kiting, you can still get your AoE damage out, right? 2, you can stand far away from the pack and deal damage. This is very important because in Shadowlands there are lots of nasty melee mechanics, which makes it dangerous to stay in melee. So we have loads of frontal cleaves, we have some affixes like the storming, as well as those ads that show up. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but all those kind of make it safer to stand further away, which is why Clawing Shadows kind of gains utility because of it. In this dungeon, I simply, pop off my cooldowns as soon as they come up. This is quite a big pool, requires a lot, so I got Blight, Dark Transformation, Abomination Limb, go out with some Festing Strikes before I pop down my Def and K, and just go ham. You might see me running this weaker up here for Heirmir tracking. It's quite useful to get it because it kind of indicates when you can get loads of bursts. So whenever that starts shining up, I'm instantly thinking, right, time for me to spend my epidemics, time to pop on Def and K window, right? It's a good idea to track it so you kind of know that it's coming and you can plan around it. Ooh, I love playing as a Death Knight for Sanguine Week. We can be so useful gripping out mobs, making sure they don't heal, that kind of thing. Right, boss is about to come up, but I think I'm gonna use my cooldowns anyway. This first boss is relatively easy, so it's not like I need to have everything for it. For a high key like a 20, it's also very important to actually use your cooldowns on Pridefalls. They can get quite scary, so I do make sure to pop like what I've got. So you can see me using my inscrutable content device, stuff like that, just to make sure someone uses their cooldowns. I kind of like being the one using the cooldowns because using cooldowns all the time, that's very beneficial to group overall. And as I said, we don't really need them for next boss, so why should I save them? I got loads of stuff anyway, so it's fine really. So using my AMZ as usual. I think I popped that quite early in this Pride. Could have probably waited a bit to make it a bit more useful. But now it's time to pull this boss. If you haven't figured out how to do this properly, what you do is just follow the ad. And that's by far the easiest way you can do this boss. Follow the ad. He stands still and does his barrage. You just stand on the side of him, and that's it. Just following around. Something which I actually didn't know when I ran this, which is very useful, is that the ad is connected to the boss with a link. If you run through that link, it puts a dot on you, which hurts quite a lot. It stacks as well. You can see me there. I run through it. So if you do this boss, do be careful about running through that link. It can deal quite a lot of damage. But this is going to be a very easy boss for us. It's fortified. It really doesn't do much. It's not very scary. I had my army up, everything, so it's just going to fall over, really. Some more comments when we kill this for my talent. So I do pick up Soul Reaper. And, it's sometimes difficult to find value of it. You obviously find value on bosses, but on trash it can be tricky. However, I still feel like it is the play, because Pestilent Pustules really doesn't bring much to the party. Sure, you get some resources in AoE, but I don't feel like you need them. I don't starve enough to feel like, would have been great with some extra runes here. If you play properly, there is no need for Pestilent Pustules, I'd argue. And then you have Soul Reaper, which brings a lot of value on bosses, and if you're good at it, you can use it on ads. Target priority ads, or just on fortified ads that have a lot of HP. It's much easier to actually leverage it. Right, first boss is down. We're going to make a pull here where we LOS these ads. And we're going to burst them down. Let's have a look at my cooldowns. I got both Blight, Dot Transformation. I got my Abomination Limb coming up soon. I got my Inscrutable Quantum Device coming up soon. So I'm going to be ready to essentially use all of those. Just want to reiterate that. Do use your cooldowns more than you think you want to use them, right? Big mistake is not using your cooldowns. You're going to lose out on casts overall, and it's just going to slow down the key, because maybe you're saving them for that big pack to, get that really high damage. You're going to lose them on a pack further along, because you saved them. The idea is just to use your cooldowns when they come up. It's going to make you a much better player. Alright, so you can see me leveraging some Soul Reapers there. I think this is going to be a failed one. Yeah. It's fine if you fail it. Soul Reaper doesn't deal that much less damage than a Clawing Shadow. And you get runes back. It's not like you're going to lose tons of DPS if you use a Soul Reaper, which fails. Whereas you're going to gain a lot if you actually use a Soul Reaper, which does trigger. So, do try to use them a lot. Do try to be a bit adventurous, and don't be careful about it, essentially. I think throughout this key, you will see me popping Dark Transformation before going into my Festering Strike tabbing. And I have a bit of a thought about that. I'm not sure if it's actually the ideal thing to do. I'm running Frenzied Monstrosity, which makes my Dark Transformation essentially have a 15-second window afterwards, where I want to deal a lot of AoE damage. Clawing Shadows, Epidemic, that kind of thing. They get buffed by Frenzied Monstrosity. So I do think it's actually a better idea to hold on to Dark Transformation until after you've got your Festering Strikes out. Festering Strike is very little damage in the scale of a pull, right? It's just single target. The wounds don't do much because you don't burst them, and you don't have bursting souls. So generally it's kind of wasted to have the Dark Transformation, Frenzied Monstrosity buff up when you use those. So I'm going to try it out. I haven't done it yet, but I do think using Dark Transformation after the Festering Strike cleave is a better play. However, it's not that bad, because usually, 15 seconds, that's kind of the length of your entire AoE damage pool. So if you use Dark Transformation early, what might happen is that some Clawing Shadows, cleaves at the end of your Deafening KO window, do not get buffed, and that that's a loss of damage, but it's not terrible. All right, we'll clean that up nicely. We have this both the warrior and hunter are pumping, which is great. So I can see I have army up here. I just use it, man. It's ages until we hit the next boss, and it's just great value for me to pop army here and just nuke down this prideful. Comes back to what I said earlier. use your cooldowns when they come up. It's just great value. I think I might even use my army like once or twice before the next boss. So I'm going to get loads of armies out, being able to leverage that extra damage. You can see how there's Prideful. I'm just pumping. I'm at 7.5k, everyone else at 4 or a bit lower. And that's very helpful. It saves us a lot of time for me to use army there. This is a very smooth run overall. We kind of didn't fail at all. I think I died like twice or something because I failed, but you know, that happens. Alright, another pull. I have Blight, I don't have Dark Transformation. I'm fine with that. Just use Blight and go with it. No reason to save it. You might as well use your cooldowns. You know, it's not a disaster if you use Blight without transformation. Without Dark Transformation, you know. What happens in the end that they kind of align after a while and then you're good to go, you know. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to make a new couple of videos when 9.1 comes out with Myth Plus. I do feel like some of the things I said in my Myth Plus video aren't necessarily completely true. I talked about, you know, when you use your cooldowns, not using them at the end of the pack. You know, that's not always the case. It's fine to use your cooldowns at the end of a pack. Alright, this pull is quite a tricky one. These 3 hurt a lot, and you got this double interrupt rotation you need. But I've assigned it, I'm like the second interrupt on the skull, and I just ensure that I get the right one. So assign your interrupts for this one, crucial. If these guys hit one of their smashes, it can one-shot you on a high enough key. Alright, got my Apocalypse ready, so just build some wounds up to get it off. Again, I don't want to hold it, no reason to do it, so you might as well. And you can see I can leverage, I can get like 2 or 3 Soul Reapers off in this pull, which is great value, honestly, because a Soul Reaper hits like a truck, and whenever you can actually get that off, that's a huge win for you. Cool. So I believe the next pack, we're going to kill this commander guy. Let's have a look what it's called exactly. No, that's not that pack. You'll see it coming. For the commander packs, you want to try and single target commander. It's fine for Unholy DK to leverage Epidemic, because Epidemic does deal cleave damage. So even though, you know, it's not priority damage, the fact that everything you know cleaves on top of the commander makes it worthwhile. And it's fine to do some cleave, even though the cleave is less valuable. Got Apocalypse coming up again. You know, it's the end of the pull. He's at 50% HP, but it's still extremely valuable. It's still going to take him 15 seconds to die, so I still get full value from that Apocalypse. Alright, no problem at all. And we're moving on to the next pack. I feel like Spires is quite an interesting dungeon. There are a couple of very difficult packs. So the pack before the second boss, for instance, just very nasty. But other than that, most packs are kind of fine. They're not too difficult, not too much of a risk of dying. And then you have the guys before the last boss, which are very scary. On a plus 20 fortified, you know, you're going to have to commit a lot on the last one. You'll see that we will use lost army, everything, just to get that guy down. We can see that I have army up here, so I'm going to find the best opportunity to use it. Obviously, I talk about using my cooldowns, but I wouldn't use it at this point, right? It would do nothing. But we have a Prideful, perfect opportunity. Let's see if we use army. Yeah, here we go. Great. So I've been able to army 2 Pridefuls in a row, which I'm very happy about. You don't always get this nice timing, but Pridefuls are great opportunities to use army, especially on high keys. And I feel like using army here, we have a couple of packs more, then we're going to fly over to another platform, kill a big pack there. I'm probably going to have army up for the boss. Getting my AMZ down, helping the group, getting some Soul Reapers up. Great. Again, top damage on that Pride, just leveraging the army damage. Quite funny. I'm very bad at using Fleshcraft in keys. You know, you should ideally use it whenever you have the time. You can see that the Xiaomi is there, and that kind of triggered me, I think. Because I am bad, I should get better at actually using it. Because it is useful. 4% shield when you move into a pack can be great, honestly. We are doing a big pull here. I have my Blight up, I have my Dark Transformation. But essentially, my friends are going to handle this. They're just going to blast this. We leverage the Despair there to stun everything. And just kill it off very, very quickly. It's quite nice with slappy hands. I can control whenever I want to grip something by moving a bit further away from it. So you can see one of the ads there were actually stuck in the Sanguine, but I could just move slightly backwards, and I pulled it to safety. Oh, these Goliaths, they always get stuck in Sanguine, right? It's very tricky for the tank to actually prevent this, but ideally you should just be kiting them as soon as there's even a remote risk of Sanguine going off. Alright, here's the squad leader. If you didn't know, he has an aura, which makes it so that everything around him takes less damage. I think it's 50%, not too sure. The idea is to just burst him down and then kill everything else. You can see here I got quite a nice setup where I have my my ghoul on the other guy and myself on the squad leader. This makes it so that I get a good unholy pack damage going. However, it's a bad idea to put your pet on anything else but the squad leader, because he's going to do much less damage. So leverage your pet attack macros, which you hopefully have. I got mine on the X keybind. That's just the default pet attack, which you can drag down from the pet bar. I use that quite a lot. Make sure your pet hits the right thing. He has a tendency of wandering off, hitting stuff you don't want him to hit. So do pay attention to where he is, and do make sure to leverage that button to move into where you want to. Alright, killing him off and moving on. So the next pack here is a very tricky one. It has loads of targets, lots of stuff that need interrupting. This is a common pack where you CC one of the ads. We got some Bloodlust here as well, just to help this out. So let's see if I actually use my Inscrutable Content Device. Yep, I did. We need as much damage as we can on this one. Hit the squad leader, pop off everything I have, Apocalypse, just go ham. You know, you might say that I should have waited with Definite because my cleave won't be that strong here, but generally we have so much damage that, as you can see, everything just dies instantly, even with the damage reduction from the squad leader. We're killing this off. We're going to proc Pride, and we're going to kill the Pride at the same time as this other Inquisitor. So this case, I feel like I'm going to say my cooldowns. The next boss is tricky, even on Fortified. He has a very strict damage requirement. If you don't kill him quickly enough, you get loads of these patches, which sends off these balls, which just knock you off and hurt badly. So I do ensure that I have all my cooldowns up, so that I can deal a lot of damage on the boss itself. You can see that this is an idea that I think is shared in group. This Pride is going to live for a long time. Luckily, we're playing with a monk, which are very nice for Pridefalls. They can use Touch of Death to get that last 5% or so of the Pridefall down. Healer, very strong here. Hasn't got any problem at all, just healing up this Pridefall even at 20 stacks for multiple seconds. Just lucky to have a very good group here. Alright, that dies. Move instantly on to the boss. And this is an obvious army boss. Just pop that off and then go into my normal opener. Start off with the double Festering Strike. Move into Blight, Dark Transformation with the potion. I do like to use potion in my opener. You actually need to be careful on this boss to not use potion if you're going to use Invis Potion to skip the next ad. So don't always use it automatically. There are a couple of instances on some dungeons where you might not want to use your potion, because there are some standard skips with invis potions. Apocalypse coming up. I'm not saving it. Just pop it off. It's no reason to save it for Blight and Dark Transformation. Better just use that on cooldown. I feel like you're gonna see me fail here. I died right at the end of this boss, which is actually kind of fine. We kill it anyway, and then you can just rest because you spawn right next to him. But it also shows that I'm not perfect at all. I fail, and that's completely normal. It's just about realizing why you failed and then trying to improve yourself. I believe I die one more time in this dungeon when we're killing off the final ad before the last boss. There we go. Got hit with one of those orbs. I'm playing Heirmir, so I've got a couple more seconds to get up some damage. Right clicking the buff because I don't have a bind, which I should have. You can easily just bind a cancel or a macro to ensure you don't end up a situation where you want to actually die so you can rest, and then you can't do it because you can't find the buff to remove it. Great, we're making lovely progress here. Timer is looking great, so we just going to move along. We're going to kill the ad right after we land here. They nerfed that somewhat recently. Usually always skipped it, but now it's actually fine to kill it. So we're going to nuke that down, and then we're going to run around and skip the next couple of ads. I'm not too sure exactly how we skipped that with this group actually. We'll have to see. Because usually what you would use is something like a Demon Hunter. They can actually double jump and then mount, and you can jump on top of their mount. You can also use something like a Priest, which uses Mind Seed. That decreases the aggro radius, which enables you to just jump up on the right side of the stairs. I can't remember exactly what we do, so let's see what happens. Might actually be the Warrior. I think Warrior can heroically leap up there as well. Mount up, and then you can just jump on top of their mount. I know, guys. Do leave a comment down below if you also have jumped out here. Like multiple times, I jump when I move across here, and I just fall off, right? It's so stupid. But it hasn't happened to me like 3 times. So, that can happen. Here we go. That's easy. So the monk uses his paralyze, whatever it is, and then knocks him away. So I'm having some issues there. I don't want to get too close, but just walk sufficiently close to the left there, and then just jump. Now, we're going to skip everything here, and we're going to pull the ads that the monk pulled right there. Importantly, you don't want to follow straight away. If you run with a tank, even though he gains aggro first, they're just going to target random people, and you're going to get killed. So wait until the tank has actually gotten behind the pillar, and then run. These guys die extremely quickly, so I don't want to waste any cooldowns, because if I use Blight here, I wouldn't be able to use that on the boss in the first instance, which would delay it, so I couldn't use it for the damage phase. So ideally, don't use anything here. Now actually, we did pull the other guys, so I could have used stuff, but still, bad idea. You don't need any cooldowns here. Save them for the boss. This is like one of very few cases where you use save the cooldowns. Because these ones, they die so extremely quickly, right? There's no need to kill them and then, ruin your cooldown timings for the boss. Great, that's done. Time for this boss. Couple of Unholy DK tips there. Blight, Dot Transformation, use them at the start. They will come up for the damage phase. Come on, there we go. Apocalypse might be a bit late, but whatever. So that blast just put on me. AMS will prevent the dot from being applied, which is incredibly useful. So save your AMS until you can use it for when you target on that. The amount of damage it deals is quite significant, so you want to avoid that at any cost. When we stack with the Imperial Ordnance, I really like using a movement speed increase. It's just reduces the risk of actually getting stuck or clipped by one of those hits. So in this case, I use my Wraith Walk, just get out of there quickly. I was complaining there that I could see my Heirmir crit buff had procced. Obviously, I would have liked it to proc in the damage phase. You know, previously we could actually cancel aura. The channeling buffs, I could actually delayed it a little bit, but not anymore. Here, pop everything I have. Previous army, it doesn't become active until after like 5 or 10 seconds, so fine to use it when he's at 5, or when he's at 5 energy and he uses his last ability. And then we just use every single cooldown we have and just burst down the boss. We can see here I'm at 9.4k. Unholy DK is really quite good at this kind of a burst window, especially when it's like 25 seconds long, because that fits perfectly with our army. I'm going to focus a lot on leveraging my Soul Reapers, making sure that goes off on cooldown. Using Death's Advance here to gain a little bit of a speed increase, just to help myself. And then just continue hitting him. Let's see if I get hit one of the Purifying Blasts again, because I would like to show that it's quite easy to dodge it with AMS. Well, obviously it's easy, right? You just press the ability and you're fine, right? I think it might be that at very high tyrannicals, it doesn't work because the initial hit actually breaks your AMS, and that can make it so that the dot is still applied. But in every single instance that I've done it, there's been no problem at all. Lovely. We just gotta get up to the last boss, kill those 3 ads before it, and then kill the boss, and we are right on time to kill this. We got 12 minutes. There's no worry at all about the time. We have loads of it. On a 20 fortified, these ads are very tricky. We killed the middle one first. That's what you usually do. It has this frontal cleave, which you don't really need to care about. The tank deals with that. So that's the easy one. But second and third, they get tricky because they add these Spires, right, which shoots out the 4 AoE damage things, the black ones. And I just find it's so incredibly difficult to actually see those. I hate those. One thing that is good, they always go out in the same direction. So if you can find a safe base, you can just stand there and you won't get hit. But when there are multiple coming out and you need to find like where the new one hits, that's when it gets tricky. Anyway, this first one, very easy. Tank just sorts out the frontal cleave and we just hit him as hard as we can. Try to get off some Soul Reapers early here. Come on, biceps. Get a Soul Reaper up. We're a bit late. There we go. I'm starving a bit here. Annoying. It's fine to just use all the cooldowns here. It takes us like a minute to kill this, so you will have everything up for the next one anyway. Some annoying lag there. Not sure where that came from actually. But yeah, first one, easy, no problem at all. Second one, this is when it starts getting tricky. I feel like this group made it quite nice for us because we moved quite heavily between the Spires. I popped my Inscrutable Quantum Device. I feel like I need to use something proper here. I actually missed that spell. I think I lagged actually, if I can remember properly. I didn't see that coming. But we move away from the Spire. You can see the back ones on the ground. Very tricky to see. But I know like I don't want to stand close to this point moving forward. I like this tactic, moving far away from the Spires. So, you know, if they're far away, it's much easier to dodge them because you see them coming. I'd also like to stand so I can actually see the ground effects. That makes it much easier to dodge. If you stand with your back against them, that's when you have cases of missing and dying from them. Right, another Spare. We move up to the corner. Just really want to kill him here because any other Spare will make it very easy for us to die from one of those hits. But yeah, he's dead. Army's coming off cooldown. I really love the army timings on this run. It's like been perfect. Been able to use them instantly. We'd come up on a good target. Right, they keep hitting for a while after you kill it, so be careful about that. But now we kill this guy. So everything, this just needs to die ASAP. We either use the spare to stun him, and then just use every cooldown we have. So, annoyingly for me, I die on this one. So you can see right at the end, I think I'm going to die. But that's fine in a way. This group is solid DPS, so what happens is that I'll just release, and then just go straight up so I can help out with the pride. There we go. So what happened there was that I dodged, right? Oh, stupid. I dodged the AoE from Quaking, moved into the black blob on the ground, and that just murders me, right? It took 80% of my HP, and then the boss finished me off. But we don't wipe because of it. It's only me dying, and they can survive Prideful being a bit longer than usual. I actually think they might actually kill it in the time it takes for me to get all the way up here. But we've got 8 minutes on the clock. There's no reason to worry, because the last boss takes maximum like 4 minutes if you're slightly slow. There we go. Prideful at 40% health. I'm going to join and help kill it. And then we're good to kill the last boss. You can see my... I hate those wings. They get in your face all the time. You can see my Dark Transformation ghoul was stuck far behind. That's because he's stunned whenever you jump off like a vehicle, like I did there. It's essentially the same thing as summoning him. He's stunned for over 4.5 seconds. This happens quite a lot. You might notice that you summon him, you press Dark Transformation, and then he just doesn't join the party for multiple seconds. And that's because it takes him 4.5 seconds to actually get going. He can actually technically do one melee attack right before you summon him, I think. That's what happens with your regular Apocalypse Ghoul, that kind of thing. They can actually get up and attack as they're summoned, but then they're stunned for 4.5 seconds, and then they hit for the rest of their duration after that point. I choose to stand quite a far away from melee there. Another good instance of Clawing Shadows being useful. This is because in case we get Quaking, I just want to make it easier for the group. I just noticed that we haven't actually discussed the good use of Clawing Shadows here, but I'm sure you have seen multiple times when I'm standing with FNK, I'm kind of quite far from the mobs and can still do full AoE damage. Love using Death's Advance here. It completely immunes you to the knockback of the winds. So Death's Advance plus Wraith Walk will make you very potent at picking those up quickly. If you're killing the boss on something like Tyrannical, or if you have Bloods for him, do you always use that in the second phase? This is the longest phase generally. You don't have the benefit of all cooldowns ready for the pull. It takes 30% of the boss HP, so it's as much HP as the first phase, but generally it is slower and more difficult. So do save Army if you have Army. Do save Bloodlust for the second phase. Final phase is really nothing special. The thing is that he jumps away at 33% health, I think it is. He loses some percentage HP before he's actually going away. And then the Spear deals 10% damage. So he's like at 20 or something HP when he gets back. And then you have Execute on top of that, and you just falls over instantly. So no reason at all at saving, your potion or your army or anything for last phase. It's the easiest portion of the fight. Alright, leveraging some Soul Reapers there. Ooh, getting a bit low here. It does hit really hard, so using your aim Z like I did before, it's actually a good idea. So I can't really see, but I think it's at 29% health. So when he does get back, he's just going to be at 19, and then we're just going to kill him ASAP. All right, handle the Spare quickly. The tank sorts out, make sure he doesn't move. If you are assigned at actually throwing the Spare, do be aware that he does move quite frequently. So it's a good idea to wait for him to move and then hit him. Otherwise, you do risk missing it. We have Army here. just came up, so let's just use it, but it's not going to deal a lot of damage because he's at 9% health. He's going to die. Anyway, I feel like we can kind of round it off over here. I hope you found this video useful. Do always leave a comment down below if you have anything to say or any questions or anything at all. As I said, I really like this setup running Clawing Shadows, and I would recommend anyone to try it out because I feel like you can deal so much damage using it. Do consider subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of content, and do catch me on my Twitch when I stream Mythic Plus or raiding. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you.